Home movies started as memories, birthday parties, family trips, moments meant for a shelf, not a screen. But as cameras got cheaper and the internet got louder, that same format became something else entirely. These are the 7 levels of home movie, from the tapes your parents made to the ones the FBI had to investigate. Level 1, the family tape, Super 8 film. We begin at the surface. A projector hums in a dim living room, and a square of flickering light illuminates a world that feels almost dreamlike. A father leans in behind a Super 8 camera, capturing his daughter in a paper birthday hat as she leans toward her cake. The film jitters with each subtle adjustment of the camera. When she blows out the candles, the flame stretches across the frame like a streak of warm light. The next shot jumps to a backyard. The grass is too yellow, the sky too pale. Time has changed the colors in the film. A boy runs past the lens, leaving only a blur. Their mother steps in to fix his collar, blocking half the frame, and the camera lingers on her face for a moment. She blinks slowly, caught unaware, as if the film itself has frozen her in time. The camera keeps rolling. Gravel crunches under footsteps. The dog weaves between legs. There's no sound, yet the scene feels alive. The scratches and dust drifting across each frame, giving the sense that the memory itself is speaking. The film cuts again to Christmas morning. Wrapping paper flies. The mother laughs, shoulders shaking. Even without sound, the motion is unmistakably real. The tape ends mid-laugh, fading to white and then darkness. What remains is a record of lives unaware they were being recorded, moments caught in a fragile, flickering world that has long outlasted them. Level 2, the unedited life, early YouTube home videos. In 2005, YouTube appeared, and the first uploads were scraps of life, not polished content. A teenager sets a cracked driveway as the stage for skateboard tricks, wobbling down the ramp while the camera shakes in their hands. A kid angles the webcam towards their lunchbox, narrating each snack with pride. In a cluttered living room, a family dances to a pop song, laughing spilling over, furniture half in frame. Nobody thought about views, thumbnails, or algorithms. They simply filmed what was in front of them and shared it with curiosity. The videos look rough. Ceiling bulbs cast a yellow haze, microphones hiss at every distance, and every laugh makes the camera tremble. Kids lean too close to the lens, adults call from across the room, and the shaky footage somehow feels alive. A window into rooms full of the unpolished, fleeting life. Then came Charlie Bit My Finger in 2007. 2 brothers sit on a couch in England. The younger bites the older's finger. The older yelps, laughs, and cries all at once. The younger beams. No setup, no editing, just a tiny, perfectly ordinary moment captured on a cheap camera. It spread across the globe, proof that raw, uncurated life could connect millions. Level 3, the first fake home movie, The Blair Witch Project, 1999. Level 3 begins when a home movie stops documenting life and starts pretending to be real life. In 1999, The Blair Witch Project arrived in theaters looking nothing like a Hollywood film. It was shaky, grainy, and disoriented, presented as the recovered tapes of 3 missing student filmmakers. The actors stayed in character for nearly the entire production, improvising dialogue, reacting to real sounds in the woods, and filming themselves with handheld cameras that barely held a charge. Nothing felt staged. Every panicked whisper, every snapped twig, every argument around the campfire looked like it had been captured by accident. To sell the illusion, the filmmakers launched one of the first major viral marketing campaigns. Months before the movie came out, they posted missing person flyers for the actors, built a website detailing the true history of the Blair Witch, and filled forums with lore that blurred folklore and fiction. Some audience members walked into theaters believing the footage was genuinely recovered. Others argued online about whether the actors were actually dead. It was one of the earliest examples of the internet being used to bend the line between movie and myth. Inside the theater, the experience felt raw because the movie refused to explain anything. There were no monsters on screen, no clean shots, no soundtrack guiding the emotions. It was just 3 people slowly falling apart in a dark forest, terrified of something the camera never fully sees. That absence made everything worse. Viewers strained to hear quiet noises, scanned the darkness for shapes, and reacted to shadows that might not have even been there. Blair Witch didn't just scare people, It rewired how horror could work. Its handheld footage inspired Paranormal Activity, REC, Cloverfield, and eventually an entire generation of internet horror creators, proving that the cheapest camera in the room could create the most believable fear. Level 4. The Viral Shock. Guinea Pig 2, 1985. In the mid-1980s, a grainy VHS tape began circulating around Japan, a short film titled Guinea Pig 2: Flower of Flesh and Blood. It didn't open with a studio logo or dramatic music. Instead, it looked like someone had just turned on a camcorder in a quiet room. A man dressed like a samurai-inspired killer entered the frame, and what followed was so meticulously staged, so brutally methodical, that viewers were convinced they were witnessing an actual crime caught on tape. There was no cinematic polish, the lighting felt like it came from a bare bulb, the camera didn't cut away. Every motion, the slow lift of a blade, the careful positioning of the victim, the almost surgical precision, looked obsessively real. Even the sound design added to the illusion. The rustle of plastic sheets, the wet heaviness of fake blood, the quiet breathing of the actress. Nothing felt like acting. It felt like documentation. Panic spread fast as people who saw the tape didn't treat it like a movie, they treated it like evidence. Rumors spread that it was an actual snuff film distributed under the disguise of horror. VHS collectors whispered about it at meetups, trading copies like forbidden artifacts. Parents warned each other. Teenagers dared one another to watch it. And eventually, the hysteria traveled across the ocean. The FBI got involved after an American actor, Charlie Sheen, watched the film and genuinely believed he had seen a real murder. He reported it, and investigators launched a formal probe. Special effects artists were interrogated, behind-the-scenes photos and the unharmed actress had to be presented as proof that nothing in the film was real. The case was closed, but the damage was done. Guinea Pig 2 had changed how people viewed home video horror. A cheap camcorder, a cramped room, and a few practical effects were enough to fool the world. What used to feel like the safest format, the humble home movie, had become the perfect vessel for fear. In a single VHS tape, realism turned into terror and horror turned into a global rumor that refused to die. Level 5. The Internet Creep. We're deep enough now that home movies start to feel like something else entirely. By the late 90s and early 2000s, a strange little film started circulating online, a grainy short simply known as Creep. It didn't come with credits, studio tags, or even confirmation that it was fiction. It looked like someone had grabbed a camcorder and wandered into subway tunnels after midnight. The shots lingered too long on empty passageways, the microphone picked up distant hums, the kind you only hear when a place is truly abandoned, and every time the cameraman turned a corner, the frame shook just enough to make viewers wonder if he was actually scared. People who found the video on early forums argued endlessly about it. Some swore it was an art project, others were convinced it was evidence, a real person documenting a real threat. The actors never spoke like actors. They tripped over words, laughed awkwardly, breathed hard after running. The camera caught natural mistakes. A hand slipping on a railing, a light flickering at the worst possible moment. Nothing about it matched the clean, rehearsed feeling of typical horror films. That rawness made it terrifying. There was no dramatic score, only the buzz of fluorescent bulbs and the echo of footsteps. The antagonist moved like someone who didn't know they were being filmed. Sometimes they appeared at the far end of a hallway, just barely visible. Sometimes they didn't move at all, they just watched. The ambiguity of their behavior made the entire short feel like a real encounter with someone deeply unwell. When the internet got hold of Creep, it spread through email chains, message boards, and niche horror sites. People downloaded it out of curiosity and stayed up all night analyzing it frame by frame. No one could find proof that it was staged. No one could identify the actors. The lack of information became part of the horror. It felt like a video you weren't supposed to have. This was the moment when home video aesthetics stopped being comforting. Ordinary places, lockers, stairwells, storage rooms, suddenly felt hostile. A simple handheld camera pointed at the wrong place at the wrong time could turn a familiar setting into a nightmare. Creep didn't need monsters or special effects. The realism did all the work. Level 6. The Lost Tape. Marble Hornets began in 2009 as a YouTube series inspired by the Slender Man mythos. It presented itself as recovered student footage documenting a film project gone wrong, with each video uploaded sequentially over months. The footage was shaky, dimly lit, and deliberately amateurish, giving it the feeling of an authentic, unedited recording. Viewers noticed subtle anomalies, figures glimpsed in the background, distorted audio, and odd camera glitches which added to the realism. The actors never addressed the audience, there were no jump cuts, scripted reactions, or cinematic cues. Every moment felt unscripted, as if the camera had simply been left behind. The operator, the series' central mysterious figure, rarely appeared directly, but its presence dominated the footage, a constant silent threat lurking just out of view. Fans speculated about the connections between videos, piecing together clues, timestamps, and odd interactions as though analyzing real evidence. Marble Hornets leveraged the internet itself as part of the story. Forums and comments became extensions of the narrative, with viewers sharing theories, cataloging patterns, and debating the meaning of visual glitches. The series blurred the line between fiction and reality in a way that traditional home movies never had, creating tension that relied on participation and imagination rather than jump scares. By maintaining an unpolished, realistic style, Marble Hornets transformed the concept of home recordings. What looked like ordinary student footage carried a slow burning dread, where the simplest movements, shadows, or camera shakes suggested something far larger and more ominous. The series demonstrated that even mundane, handheld footage could be manipulated to create an immersive, interactive horror experience, turning casual home movie aesthetics into something deeply unsettling. Level 7: The Real Horror. You've reached the deepest level, where the line between entertainment and reality disappears entirely. In May 2012, Luca Magnotta posted videos online depicting the murder and dismemberment of his victim. The footage was unedited and graphic, showing real acts of violence rather than staged horror. Once discovered, the videos prompted law enforcement action across Canada and internationally. Authorities quickly worked to identify Magnotta, leading to his arrest in Germany 2 weeks later. News outlets around the world reported on the case extensively, highlighting both the brutality of the crime and the alarming fact that such material had been posted and circulated online. Social media and video sharing platforms scrambled to remove the content, but copies persisted, spreading through forums and file sharing networks. The case raised public debate over internet censorship, platform responsibility, and the ethical limits of sharing content online. Magnotta's videos are an example of real-life home movie horror, where the camera captures actual human harm rather than fiction. Unlike horror films or stage viral clips, the footage documented events that genuinely occurred, forcing viewers to confront the consequences of recorded violence.